Welcome to the Self-Love Summit. I'm Mia Saenz, your host, and with me this segment is Kathleen Hanagan. Welcome, Kathleen.
Hi, Mia.
Hi.
So good to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. There is so much that we're going to cover. We're going to cover, of course, self-love. We're going to talk about remembering. We're going to talk about the feminine essence. We're going to talk about following your soul. There is just probably, well, we'll just get started because it's too juicy and good. So, Kathleen, will you start with your story of where you got to, how you are, and who you are today?
Yeah, probably the most important thing that I want to say I got to is the claiming of the love and business sage role. That's been only this past 6 months, and I'm 61 years old, right? And I partially didn't claim sage before because I was hanging on to my youth. But what I realize is that my sense of adventure and aliveness and vitality is only getting stronger. And so, but this is the wisdom that comes, and it comes from just a lifetime of saying yes. You know, I mean, I had a few no's, but you need no's too. But saying yes to that place inside that starts to feel like a pressure, like birthing, you know. I mean, it's the best metaphor. And being birthed. And I've done it over and over again. And I've been that midwife for so many others too. Right. So it starts to, you know, and it's like, oh, everything that you just said you were so happy you had, you're about to leave. Over and over again.
Because we're going to get better and better and better.
Yeah, there's more refinement and more letting go. So one of the big letting goes was, you know, first of all, I'm the oldest of 7. I still am the oldest of 7 children, and 5 younger sisters. So I've always been a champion of women. So I was the kind of big sister that said, come on, let's go get an ice cream, you know. Yeah. But I also was like, you got to clean your rooms when mom and dad aren't there too, you know, like, so I was leading all the time and a bit bossy, but in a good way. And there was always that sense that I would do something to help out, you know. And when I was young, because I was raised Catholic, I wanted to be a missionary nun. And I still know that at some point in my life, not quite yet, but not too far down the road, I'm going to do sometime work with disaster relief or Doctors Without Borders or something, helping in places where, you know, if a traumatized woman can't bond with her baby, I could help her do that pretty quickly, you know. Right. So that's still there. And so all these pieces were there from the beginning. And you know, life, you know, it is what it is. You know, there's, you know, college and on and falling in love and having children, and I did it all. You know, I said yes to all. I kept saying yes to love. Over and over. It makes me want to cry because it never ends. You know, but the form changes. So motherhood and then the marriage, leaving in love. I left in love. It was good. And something was still like pulling me. And that was the first time I named it. Was around 1999, 2000 when I finally left Klaus, my husband and father of my children. And had my heart made the decision, I would have stayed. Had my mind made the decision, I would have stayed. But neither of those was really leading the way.
Is this when you went to Peru?
No, that's when my soul said, you need to go. And I went on my own, and I had a thriving psychotherapy practice. I was like the priestess in the temple, and people came, and I had no website and no marketing plan, and I made $200,000 easily. And life was good. And this was, back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I had everything that I wanted and more. And I traveled and I took my children places and I bought beautiful paintings and drove, fast cars.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in my hot tub one night with a glass of red wine and lights and just, it was cold, it was freezing cold. And I was saying, thank you. Like thanking the goddess,
Mm-hmm.
And this little cat I had that I'd fallen in love with, Haley, named after Haley's Comet, she had just come in my life and she was precious and she embodied joy. Every time I saw her, I felt joy.
Mm.
And so we were in love. And she got sick, something happened, no one knows. I tried everything to save her. Mm-hmm. And I knew she was this enlightened master in a little cat's, gray and white cat's body, saying, you've got to say goodbye. And I had to let her go. And I had, with the kids, we had cats and dogs and bunny rabbits and everything. And we put a lot of animals, into beautiful places. But something happened inside. And the winds of change were blowing through again. And it blew a door open in my heart. It was like, whew. And the wind kept coming through. And I just felt blown away by how much grief I had from how much I needed to live my life and not keep taking care of everyone else. Mm-hmm. And within weeks, even though I painted my living room and thought I was going to stay, I heard a voice say, you're going to be leaving again. I said, where? And then nothing for months. Just the knowing.
Right.
And I even looked and went to Costa Rica, but it wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And then one day a friend was sitting with me in the fall. We were out on my deck, and she said, you're going. You're going to put the house on the market. Where are you going? I don't know. I haven't gotten my marching orders yet. I don't know. She said, but you're going. She said, what about Cusco? And I said, where is it? She said, Peru. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's it. And within 2 months, I had closed my practice, given my other cat away, sold the house, and off I went to Peru to live in the Andes. As just a woman, even not knowing the language, just a woman in another country, high up in the beautiful navel of the earth. That's what Cusco means, navel. And surrounded by mountains that talked and had spirit, and there I just put myself.
Amazing.
And before I left, it was Christmas time before I left, and it was 2004. And I was saying goodbye to people, and then the tragedy of the tsunami in Southeast Asia came in the day after Christmas. Mm. And I noticed as I was wrapping things up that the angry people were grateful, and the fighting couples were appreciative, and the people that were, complaining about their jobs were singing the praises of their lives for about 2 weeks. And as the media died down and the waves of compassion started to diminish again, and things went back to normal, but actually that is normal. I sat in awe, and I realized it wasn't anything I was doing. I was a witness to it. And I had this burning desire in my being to penetrate to the heart of compassion and know, why can't we stay in that place? Why can't I stay in that place? It's the most natural place where I care so much, and my heart is open. Like when Haley died, I was living in that place. And when everybody was there, I felt connected.
It's a place of love with compassion.
Yeah, deep. And wow, I went with that idea and the notion that I would also transform my relationship with time. Those were the two things that my intention in going there. And it all came true. I had every opportunity to find that out, and both. And the simplest answer to why, well, I'll frame it in a more positive way. What would allow every human being to stay, to remain and live and breathe and function and just be in that vibration of love and compassion and brotherhood, sisterhood, is the love for self, compassion for self, that it starts there, and when it ends there. That's what starts the ending of it, that it's always that. And then when we're there, we can't help but love.
Right. Have you noticed that that after a tragedy, like the tsunami, a death, a breakup, there's always, well, not always, because sometimes people drop it, but that's generally when the shifting and the awakening process begins for people.
Yeah, the transition. It's the breakdown before the breakthrough. Well, it's been the way we've been doing it. And it's been part of the evolutionary process, right? And what we're coming into is a place where we are no longer needing breakdown, where we're letting go enough of that which creates the breakdown, the negative emotions. And that's the work right now. The mastery is around that. And really going for, and light is the tool. Light is the tool, and love is the speed of love is slightly faster than the speed of light. So you can always be sure if you're leading with love, and the light is clearing the negativity and transforming it. So that's our work right now. And so I got all the downloads for all that back there in Peru, but I didn't completely understand it all. Yet until now, I mean, what I got is unfolding, and at that time it came in the form of my poetry, which I know that it's probably one of the things I need. I'm not going to say I need to do. I will do this year is get that out, the book of poetry, and it's prophetic and just beautiful to read. Like I don't have anything with me, but I didn't know to even talk about this, but. What came to me is that we're all immigrant souls. And what I was an immigrant for a year. And I had the experience of what it's like for immigrants to come and live here. And yet they don't even, like, it's harder even going from a third world to here than I had at least money.
Right.
And I had such a humbling, and I realized we're all immigrants. We're all from somewhere else, and here we're visiting this. We're making Earth home. Right. We're actually making it home.
I guess I was an immigrant too.
Hello. Yes.
But I mean, I lived in Mexico with my children on the beach when I was married at the time, while their father worked on a movie, and so it was the most amazing experience.
Yeah.
To go into another country, you barely speak the language, and to make your way and to learn. And you have so much respect and love. You come at a totally different place in your being.
Yeah. Right?
Everybody needs to experience that.
Oh my gosh. And it's like, it's so different than visiting. Like, when you live there and you go to the same little lady at the end of the street at night, and she sells the mazamorra on the corner, right? And she says, see, and she speaks Quechua, and you speak English, a little Spanish, and the two of you hook, and you have like love between you, and she feeds you, and it's hot, and you're sitting there and looking at her, and she's smiling, and you're in love.
Yeah.
And I can go right back to that and how, wow, we only said, I'd say gracias, oh, muy bueno, delicioso, sí, mommy, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
But the love and the appreciation and all the other emotions and feelings are on a different level, and it's beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's really embodied, So being a celestial being, I got so embodied, taking plant medicine and hanging out with shamans, and really being initiated and all of that, and
it's
that was
an amazing experience.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Yeah, and so it's all about saying yes, because if I hadn't said no to some other things, and said yes to that, then, and that's what it is for all of us. It's there's something that's compelling, and there's so much coming at us, and it's important to know what to say yes to.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen to your soul, follow your soul. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Will you tell us about the blueprint? When we were talking before, I misspoke. I thought this was another time. I thought it was called Radical Radiance or Reliance. I'm not sure which one.
Radical Radiance.
Okay, that's what I have written down, but last time I guess I said Radical Reliance, and you were like, whoops. But that's okay. Will you share that?
Well, it is. It's actually reliance, too, because it's learning to rely on your soul. And that the radiance comes from the soul. You see it through the eyes. You can also see it through, especially in women, the way we exude our light, and we also wear jewelry to accentuate it, And that's why all the bangles, it's about light. And radiance is the essence of a woman. It's a feminine quality. It's like a sensual feminine. Whereas deep strength, depth is the masculine. And it's, it's what we need to keep alive by living more attuned to our feminine hormones and not adrenalizing our lives. And I certainly, like most Western women, did that, and paid a price of exhaustion. So it's taken years to come into balance, and imbalance is like this. It's not like ta-da.
Right.
It's like a yoga pose, but that is, it's the movement of life, and all of the while, that's what we're learning, and it's so fast right now, and that what's showing up are the places where we're divided and still in duality.
So it's about living in the beautiful five senses, correct? Deep down into our total essence.
Food and
deeper than anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Body. Yeah.
The way we see things is visually beautiful. The way we feel things on our body is sensually touching.
We touch a cat.
Right. Yeah. To appreciate every aspect of the touch or the taste or the sound or the smell or the vision that we can see. It's beautiful. And the duality, to be in perfect balance, is actually manifesting both the feminine and the masculine together in both man and woman.
Yeah, sacred union. Yeah. And it's different in men and women, but it's happening in both. It is exactly because as it happens in one, as the woman takes back her full power and activates the solar feminine, so the masculine and the feminine, then the man can take back his full power, the feminine in the masculine, the lunar masculine. And in the yin-yang sign, it's the dots in each one. All right? So in the white is the masculine, the black is the solar feminine, and the black is the feminine, and the white is the lunar masculine. That's
beautiful.
That's where we are right now, and that's what each person. That's when I say where we are. That's the vibration, the highest vibration that's calling us right now, and it's endless. And there are beings who are already there and evolved beyond it, but most of us. So, so my role is, I guess you could say a bridge, because I'm a Gemini, and it's like the mystic, ascetic, and the hedonist in me are friends, and the dancer and the one who just wants to meditate, and all of these parts are.
Well, all of those are a true spiritual being. The feminine, the sensual, the dancing, like you said, the meditation, the spiritual, the essence of our body, and how when we dance we exude beauty and grace and joy, pure feminine essence of joy. That really, when you set an intention behind that, is the most, I believe, to be one of the most, or the most powerful energy there is. It's phenomenal when you put your intention behind your dance. I had last year.
The activated feminine.
Yeah. Last year we did a dance thing around the world for 5 minutes. Hold the intention for our counterpart, to love man and our sisters, and then men were saying, can we do it too? And I said, yes, love the women and love your brothers. And it was a beautiful thing. Everybody was like, can we do this every month? So it was really, really amazing. It just, because you feel so glorious, and as you were saying, the sensual, we do, and you were saying hedonistic, we do need to cherish all the sensual aspects of us.
Yeah, what I do, and I was saying this, before we got started, I put on some serenity because I'd been out all day at an event, and what it does is it's like, okay, it grounds me, and then it brings me into, it's calming, so beautiful, it's feminine. I've been out young in traffic,
right,
like that, and that brings me into balance. And it's not a difficult thing to do. And I gave a little to the dog, too, on the way in. So
because it's organic.
Yeah, and it calms her because she was all excited that I was home and I wanted to get ready for the call.
Right.
So,
Right.
It's using these tools and then there's also the part that wants to just be so still. And I've done years of silent meditation. And after Peru, I went to India for a month and was in silence for a long time. And that's a very masculine thing to do,
Right.
And so it's I've cultivated both. And so I have all that to offer, and right now I don't have a partner, and yet I do feel someone coming, and I know that he has both. And we have so many more dimensions that we'll share because of that.
And it's your divine right to have your perfect balance.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah, I know. Yes,
exactly.
Get in. I've called him in, and I actually need to do my own process of the beloved, the merging with the beloved, which is one of the things I've done and one of the pieces of work. And I know every time I've done it with somebody, it brings me to that place again of wow.
It's all about the self-love, because if we love ourselves enough to take these steps, even like how you were putting on the serenity oil, which is a creation of a few different essences put together just so that people who don't understand, that was bringing you back to a place of calm and beauty where you felt beautiful. And it's wonderful. Nothing is wrong with us taking those steps to take care of ourselves.
No, actually,
that's self-love.
Everything is right, And we have to choose. If getting your nails does that for you, then go get your nails done.
Right, right. And they don't have. They can be any length you want. I used to I used to have these French tip nails. Now they're short, and it's like it's okay. They're all. It's however you feel in the moment. It's all about you.
Do you want to hear something wild?
Sure.
I'll tell you. In my journeys, I did a week with David Data, and it was the most strenuous, both spiritually, physically, and emotionally week of my life. It was a few years ago. It was 2006. And, during that week, the essence of what it means to be a woman came forth, right? And me, and in a total embodied way. And that was the point of the work, and also of really meeting the divine masculine in the men. And at the end, the women all gathered and the men gathered, and we had our closing separately, then we had it together. And we had a lot separate because it was like we had to do different work, right?
Right.
And the work of the feminine was so powerful, and at the end, the two leaders gave some very powerful medicine to the women and went around the circle, and they alternated. And one woman, who was a very cerebral doctor, not very embodied, was given the assignment to go to the part of her town where the women that most disgust her hang out. The bimbos. The women that lead with their bodies. And watch them for a week, every day.
I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're not in touch with our sisters in the knowing of who our and what our essence is, we can't be full complete ourselves.
We're going to touch a sister.
Exactly. There's a process I do where I teach women, and I learned it myself, where you just can instantly flip back into that sensual state of empowerment, because we're all thrown off. You're walking down the street, you look at yourself in a mirror and you go, ooh, I look a little scary. You got to get your mindset and your whole body essence back into that. And then in the next few steps, you look back in and you're like, that's right.
Nice.
I'm right on track.
Yeah.
So
right
we have to know without loving our sisters, without loving other women and their true beauty and everything about them, what
and
makes
these
them.
women know how to do that.
Exactly. That's.
They
I get what you're saying.
They know that magic.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's a magic we need.
It is.
It's
a feminine essence.
Yeah.
Some women don't. They have that natural gift of feminine essence, and they don't. Perhaps even know how
they
to.
They don't show it. They don't radiate it out. It's the radiant piece of the radical radiance blueprint is this.
Right.
That you start to, through your radiance, you love the world back into the place it's meant to be. You actually take that on in a way and say, oh, that's what I'm doing, That something's going to be right with the world because I'm letting that out. And that's hard.
and each person is individual, so you can let it out as far and as little as you want. That that woman in a suit who had to go watch those other women do their thing is amazing because she got an amazing gift. And one of them was, I bet at the end, not to judge, not to judge, because part of that is you take what you want and you don't have to take, everything in our life. We take what it serves us and we leave the rest behind.
Well, it's about this play of the opposites, duality. It's really continuously, because that is the pulse of life right there, right? And it's constant, and it's one thing after the other, and it's not a matter of even thinking about it. If you think about it, it'll make you crazy. It's not about thinking. It's about moving with it, because we are it. We are that pulse.
We are.
And so, she's got this thing going on, and she's got this thing going on, and until the assignment was until she could feel that, until she could. Yeah. And I was given too. I was the oldest woman there. And she honored me and she said, I don't know what to tell you. And she said, I didn't have a model for older, and now I do. So she blessed me. It was beautiful. Younger woman blessing me. And I had blessed her. And she said, I want you to, for a month, a half an hour every day, sit in, or dance, or just be in the experience of who you already are, but who you will be in the last month of your life.
Oh, total completeness.
And wow, and I could feel myself be this white-haired, crystal blue-eyed woman. And I felt myself to be pure love. And I have no idea how, because we have a lot of rejuvenation, things are happening today that are quite remarkable. There's mastery in many ways being taught. And, it could be a while from now. And by that point, consciousness, we don't know where it will be. And, will there be ascension? Will the body need to die? We have no idea. Think even 20 years ago, cell phones. No.
Right.
And so we are, we're evolving so quickly that art of surrender, of letting go and saying yes to the next thing, has to be a moment-by-moment experience. And I've been developing ways to teach that, and obviously, it's not clear how to teach that yet, because you can't be with somebody continuously. But there are ways to ground ourselves, and that is one of them. That the oils that I just had, that's actually had been helping me, and to. If I get a little bit uptight about the computer too long, or basil, I'll use basil as well.
Yeah, basil is beautiful.
Yeah,
and breathing. You have a free gift that you're offering people, that you're giving to people.
Yes.
And you were going to, we talked about you doing, because this almost seems like a beautiful.
Good touch. Yes.
You were going to do an experiential of a mini meditation of what it's going to be like. So,
yes. And I'm going to do a little piece that people can listen to over and over, and
right.
It is a tool. It's one of the tools that I've developed.
Wonderful.
To when you're really caught, when you really can feel like part of you is holding back. It's working with that part to finally say yes. So
wonderful.
It's what I've done so far. So. What I'll do is ask you and everyone to simply close your eyes and make sure, if you're driving, you don't do this, but, just, you can listen to it later, an expanded version of it. And really be aware of your breath. Take 3 conscious deep breaths all the way into your belly. And with each breath, let out anything that you don't need, very intentionally. And I want you to think of that thing that keeps getting in the way. It may be a feeling, a thought. It most likely leads to an activity like procrastination or some little addiction or something that, if you were to shift that, you could be a lot more powerful than you are. You could show up as more powerful, the truly radiant being that you are. And so this is a little way you hold back. And the truth is that it's common for really committed, very devoted light workers to have that part that's kind of resistant to ascension. It's like, I don't know, I think that destiny is a little bit too big, And it made decisions long ago, this part of you, before the age of 7, about who you are and how much you could achieve, how big you could get. And it was a wise decision at that time. It was an adaptation. There's something in you that's calling you to something quite beyond your even logical mind can fathom. You have an idea of it. Some of you have a vague idea. It's more in the dream form, and some are clear of the vision. And others are even clear of a mini vision. But wherever you are in that process, I want you to honor this part of you that's made made it a little difficult for you. I call it the saboteur. It's subpersonality. It's here right now in front of you. And rather than being upset or angry, it's wise to ask yourself, what is it? What is it that I really want? What's the secret satisfaction of this behavior or holding back? What's the secret satisfaction of that? I get something from it. I get to be safe, maybe, or I get to be... Maybe I even get to feel loved. Like I'm afraid if I got bigger than this, I'd lose some of what I have. See if you can identify. And no judgment, only compassion for that part of yourself. Because what it really, really wants is to be safe and loved. And right now, the part of you that's having this experience of this younger part takes this part by the hand and begins to walk down a corridor. There are a lot of doors, many doors, different doors, some of them carved, some of them plain, some of them even with jewels. Don't worry, you'll find the door. You'll know. Keep your eyes open and be willing to stop in front of the door that you need to go through. Find that door. And know that this door is the portal to your courage. Part of you that says yes to the big dream. To your higher self, that part of you that has always remained connected to your soul. It's there. Always there. And you're ready right now. Or you wouldn't be listening to me. You're ready right now. Put your hand on that door. And with that little self, now step through into a thick white mist. You can't even see. In the distance, there's a light. You perceive it through the mist. You feel your feet on the ground. You know you're safe. Because the feeling in this place is so benevolent. There's so much love here. No fear. Pure love. And the light beckons you to step in. And you do. You step in with your little self into that light, and you perceive this being that is so vast and so magnificent. And you recognize this being as that part of you that you at times only sensed, at times been very clear about. And right now you're clear. And you look at your younger self, and you look at this magnificent being, and you realize it's all you. Facets of who you are. And you look at that younger self, and the more you love that younger self, the more light it exudes. And in a beautiful, unspoken agreement, your younger self agrees to be transformed by this being of light. And come with you. Step into your highest expression of who you are as a unique being. And through light you see the transformation, you witness it. That this part of you need. You couldn't do it without it. It's always been trying to protect you. and now understands that it doesn't need to protect you. That there's nothing to be afraid of. And you witness the transformation. In one unspoken moment, all three of you merge. And you feel yourself planted on the ground and vast. And you walk up the hill to the highest place, overlooking a vast horizon. And you see the new earth. And your place in it. And you know what's yours to do, no more, no less. And you say yes, wholeheartedly. And take a breath. And breathe in that power and love together. That light. And know that that is who you are. As you come back, bring that all with you. And take a breath. And in the out breath, just open your eyes.
Thank you. That was lovely.
So, we are all that.
It's amazing. It is. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you like to leave us with one last message before we go? Because we're out of time. Can you believe that?
Oh, well, time. What's time?
Right.
Yep. To be brave. Have the courage to say yes. And the courage to say no. And get the help that you need when you don't know. Very important. Can't do it alone.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathleen Hanagan, for joining us.
You're welcome, Mia. It was an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you in another segment. Thank you.